The first thing is there is an event that is significant, and that is that a lot of schools and MATs have contracts with ESS SIMS that are coming to the end of their current 3-year cycle in March of 2025. So a big question will be how many of those move. It would be reasonable to guess that there might well be quite a chunk of schools that move at that point, even if ESS are sort of, they have their cloud system they're building out. They'll be talking to their schools about that. But just because it's the end of a contract period, there are some schools that will have waited until then and to make a decision or something like that. So that's the first thing to look for is watch this space. I should get that data in sort of June or July of 2025. And I'm really looking forward to writing that blog because it will be really interesting to see how many schools have switched. Obviously, it's not just ESS SIMS that they could be switching from, but that event, schools come to the end of the ESS SIMS contract. That's the first thing to look for in 2025. More broadly, I think there's a couple of other ways of thinking about the market and what's going to happen. The first is, will there be any major change in the narrative? Like, the narrative up to now has been, as you said, that there's been a sort of a steady decline and an increasing rate to an extent in the last few years of decline of ESS towards Arbor first and Bromcom second, with a few challenges behind. I haven't yet seen anything to make me think that that narrative will change, but it certainly could. That's what I'm looking for in the data. So will the narrative change? And maybe, a different way of looking at it is to think, what would the things be that would change the narrative, right? And I think I've got three things in that category. So that's probably what you're interested in. The first is I think the MIS is broadening. I think this has been happening for a long time. Initially, broadening meant like doing things like payments and comms in the MIS, which you might have traditionally bought externally. But I think that trend has already gathered quite a lot of pace. I think increasingly it can be, do you consider HR and finance as part of the same purchasing decision? Now, I'm not saying that that's happened yet, but that's something I'll be looking out for.